What is going on, everybody? I've been a diehard Pistons fan since '03, and I'm starting to get cautiously optimistic about this Pistons team. We got some news today that is only making me more optimistic about this team. It was the long-awaited news that Ausar Thompson has been cleared to play basketball again fully. In this video, we're going to talk briefly about everything that transpired, what all happened, and then, of course, talk about what Ausar returning to the lineup looks like going forward. So to give you guys a refresher time kind of frame of all of what had happened, Ausar Thompson, of course, played his rookie year for the Pistons last year, his first season in the NBA, where he had to end in mid-March due to what at the time was reported as issues with his asthma. A couple weeks had passed, and then we found out that he was not going to be returning for the rest of the season. That game in March was his last game of the year, and then we found out that he got blood clots. So fast forward a little bit, now it's getting close to Summer League this offseason. We were all kind of hoping that we would get some news on Ausar and potentially see him in Summer League, but we found out that he was not going to be ready for Summer League. At that same time, we found out that he was cleared to start doing small bits of training like jogging and shooting, things like that. So we were all pretty hopeful. And we had heard from the front office that they had planned to have him back by the time that the regular season started. Obviously, that did not happen. So the rest of the summer went by, still no news on Ausar. Training camp came around. We were seeing videos of him practicing in one-on-one settings. But all in all, he was not ready to go by the start of the season because he had to get cleared by the NBA Players Association to be able to play. They had to have like a bunch of different opinions from the different doctors to let this all happen. So we ended up playing our first 11 games of the year. No one really knew what was going to happen. I made a video a couple weeks back now talking about what the timeline could be. In that video, we said it could be as soon as tomorrow or as late as next year. We didn't have any idea. So finally, we got some good news, and that is that Ausar is able to play again. Of course, above all, just happy for Ausar the guy. Obviously, don't want any health problems for him, especially because he seems like a great dude off the court. But now that he's back, that's going to be awesome. Of course, it's not going to be overnight. Don't expect him to play tomorrow against the Heat, but he will be back relatively soon. If I was going to guess, I'm just taking a shot in the dark, and your guess is as good as mine. I think that it'll be likely that we see him back in action probably around 2 weeks from now and starting off on a minutes restriction. I think that they'll probably ramp him up for about a week or two and then bring him back, probably ease him into the lineup, maybe 15 minutes his first game, and then just go from there. And that kind of brings me into my next point is where does he fit in with this current Pistons lineup? I think that right now, they probably don't even know themselves. I highly doubt JB Bickerstaff is sitting there saying, once Ausar is back, I for sure know that he's going to be our small forward. Or once Ausar is back, I for sure know that he is going to take Ron Holland's minutes. Ron won't play, and this is going to happen. So I think that we're really just speculating here because I highly doubt they know for sure either. What I do know is his first game back, they'll probably ease him into it. They'll probably bring him off the bench, put him out there for 15 minutes, see how he feels, and then also see how he performs and fits in with this new Pistons team. So, of course, what does Ausar bring to the table? Number one thing, on-ball defense. The Pistons have had trouble this year containing guys like LaMelo, containing guys like Trajan, containing Jason Tatum. Anybody who is a wing or perimeter scorer, Ausar can handle them and handle them as good as almost anybody in this entire NBA can. So I think the number one thing that he's going to bring to the table once he is back is, of course, going to be his defense. That is something that even in his rookie year was absolutely stellar. I think that everybody who watched Ausar picked up on that right away because it's really hard to not notice the way that he plays defense. It's just spectacular. He's got the whole package as far as a perimeter defender goes. He's got the effort. He's got the control. He's disruptive. He stays in front of his man. He checks every single box you could possibly ask for out of a perimeter defender. He also brings weak side help. He can come over across the paint and soar through the sky and block somebody because his vertical is just insane. Defensively, he is a elite wing defender and brings other things to the table, like the shot blocking that you don't always see out of these lockdown wing defenders. He's just spectacular on the defensive end. So that is, no question, his best trait that he will be bringing back to this team, assuming that he is 100%, which it sounds like he will be. And then another thing that I think is probably slept on a little bit or maybe forgotten about is his ability to rebound the basketball. I know that during this point in time, without Jalen Duren the past couple games, the Pistons have kind of gotten killed on the glass. Ausar Thompson can help that. Whether he's playing with Stewart at the 5 or Paul Reed at the 5, or if they have him playing next to Duren, it doesn't really matter. The guy is a very, very good wing rebounder. He is as good of a rebounder as you'll see from the small forward position. A night like last night where we played against the Rockets and we got out rebounded big time, especially down the stretch, Ausar can help with that. So another thing that Ausar brings to the table. Now the tricky part is, how does Ausar fit in offensively? That's just going to be a wait and see thing. Ausar Thompson, elephant in the room, he was an 18% three-point shooter last year. Those type of guys who cannot shoot three-pointers at all and they're 18% are very, very hard to play in today's NBA. And if you do play them, you need to come up with creative solutions to get them in situations where they're not just spotting up on the three-point line, effectively making the game 4-on-5, because other teams are smart enough that they will just leave him wide open if he's standing there. So hopefully JB Bickerstaff has a game plan on how to either use him as a screen and roller or put him in the dunker spot on most possessions, or even better, hopefully all this time that he has had away from actually being able to play 5-on-5, he's been working with Fred Vincent and he comes back and becomes a decent three-pointer, because as I've mentioned on this channel countless times before, if Ausar Thompson can become even a league average, or let alone slightly above league average three-point shooter, this dude has all-star written all over him. So I'm super excited to see how Ausar is able to come back and impact this team. I think that everything he does on the defensive end will be greatly appreciated. I think that the offense is more of a wait and see type of thing, see if he made any strides during his time away and all that type of stuff. But he's a net positive. He's an asset to have on this team and on this roster and a part of the lineup, no question asked. So I'm really, really excited. I honestly kind of was not necessarily feeling a bit of doom about his return date, but in my mind, if you would have asked me yesterday when I expected to see him back, if I just had to guess, I would have said like Christmas time. So it's nice that he is going to be back and in this lineup relatively soon. I'm not 100% certain on what type of minutes he'll get. As I mentioned, I think it'll be low minutes to start, and based on how he feels and his production will dictate where he goes from there. The long-term outlook, who knows? Maybe he's our starting 3. Maybe Bickerstaff wants to reduce him and Duren's time on the floor together, because as of right now, it doesn't seem like either of them have shown a reliable jump shot, and it's hard to play 2 non-shooters. Maybe he takes Ron Holland's minutes. It's really hard to say. That is something that we'll just have to monitor and check in on regularly. And we will be doing that on this YouTube channel, as we do always. So let me know what you guys think. I think we're all excited about this, but just want to confirm with you all, and I'll catch up with you guys soon.